Every year the 3D printing industry comes to RAPID+TCT with something to prove. This year in Boston we attended the show, and honestly we didn't find what we expected. Not because the show was quiet. Despite feeling smaller than previous years, it still had over 450 exhibitors. But strolling through the alleys, the machines that actually stopped us weren't the ones with the biggest booths or the most familiar names. They were the ones that made you stop and ask, why did it take so long? In this video, we'll take a look at 9 machines our team captured from the show floor that we think are genuinely worth your attention. And of course, since Bambu Lab and HP both had something to announce, we'll also be mentioning those in this recap. Let's get into it. We start with Elegoo, a brand the 3D printing community already knows well. But the Jupiter 2 isn't just another resin printer, it's their largest yet, and they came to Boston to finally launch it commercially. A 14-inch 16K LCD screen, a build volume of 302 by 162 by 300 mm, a smart resin management system that automatically refills and recycles so you never have to stop mid-print. 4 printed housing components in 39 minutes, a microfluidic chip in 20. Film replacement in seconds, 10 times faster than conventional methods. You may have seen the Jupiter 2 before. It's been on show floors for a while, but Boston was different. This time, it's shipping. This one came from Rostock, Germany, and Boston was its first time at RAPID+TCT. We've known their technology for a while at 3D Natives, but this was the first time new AIM3D, as they're now called, brought it to the US market in person. The ExAM 255 prints directly from injection molding pellets, not filament, pellets, the same standard MIM and SIM granulates your production line already uses. Thermoplastics, glass fiber reinforced materials, steels, hard metals, even ceramics. 2 quick change extruders, a 255 by 255 by 255 mm build space, an open material system that gives you the full control over every process parameter. What makes this appearance particularly interesting, the company is planning to open facilities in the US. This isn't just a product demo, it was an introduction. The kind of idea that makes you wonder why it took this long to arrive on this side of the Atlantic. Most people at the show walked straight past this booth. And that's exactly why it's on this list. Goofoo is a Chinese manufacturer based in Xiamen, and the AS130 is their compact industrial SLM metal printer. Stainless steel, titanium, cobalt chrome, di-steel, a 300 to 500 watt fiber laser, oxygen content below 100 parts per million, and a permanent filter rated for at least 30,000 hours. Open access process parameters. The machine is around $20,000. Industrial metal AM systems typically start at 4 to 5 times that. If you've been following what's coming out of China in accessible metal printing, this isn't a surprise. If you haven't, it should be a wake-up call. REPOLY is a company from Suzhou, China, and the Smooth-SE was making its world premiere in Boston. It's a desktop vapor smoothing system. Ambient temperature, patented technology, 12-liter processing chamber, one-click fully automatic workflow, compatible with both PBF and FDM parts. PA12, PA11, TPU, PLA, PETG, whatever. CE certified, TUV Rhineland approved, materials verified by Evonik and Arkema. Professional surface finishing on your desk for less than some filament printers. That's the story. We first heard about this one last year, but Boston was the first time Prusa brought it to the US. And not just as a concept. The real working toolhead was there on the show floor. Developed in partnership with a startup called Filament 2, it's a plug-and-play toolhead for the Prusa XL that prints real heat-resistant silicone, not TPU, not a rubber substitute, actual industrial-grade silicone, supplied in a hollow tube that rounds through the printer just like a standard filament spool. The mixing happens inside the precision nozzle. What makes it genuinely new is what you can do with the XL's tool changer. Combine FDM and silicone in the same part, in a single uninterrupted job. Rigid structure, flexible seal, printed together. The toolhead is $925 and arrives this summer. Industrial silicone printing used to cost tens of thousands, not anymore. After large format resin, pellet extrusion, metal printing, surface finishing and silicone, here's the plot twist. Boston Microfabrication is a local company, based just outside Boston in Maynard, Massachusetts. And they chose their home show to make the North American debut of the microArch S130. It fits on the desk, it weighs 70 kilograms and it prints at 25 microns. That's a bit smaller than a human hair, with a positional accuracy of plus or minus 3 microns. Layer thicknesses from 10 to 100 microns, HEPA 13 filtration, UVC sterilization, DLC coated platform. Microfluidic chips, endoscope shells, heat exchangers for blood cooling. The most precise machine at the show, and it fits on the desk. Sometimes the most impressive engineering is the smallest. And then there's this. CANMORA is a Canadian company, also a first-time exhibitor at RAPID+TCT. And the LEAM-Q is their modular laser powder bed fusion platform. We say modular because that's the real story. The system starts compact and scales from 200 by 150 mm all the way up to 3000 by 1500 mm on the largest configuration. Up to 24 lasers, hybrid machining available as an option, extended Z builds up to 2000 mm. The philosophy is simple. Start with the right format for your current production needs, then scale over time without changing platforms. Aerospace components, defense hardware, tooling large structural parts, build bigger, start smarter, scale faster. That's their tagline. And after seeing it in person, it's hard to argue with it. 7 machines, 7 completely different problems, solved in 7 completely different ways. But we said 9. And we saved the last 2 for a reason. Bambu Lab actually wasn't on the show floor in Boston. But on day 1 of RAPID+TCT, they announced something that was hard to ignore. The X2D is a successor to the X1 series. And the headline feature is something nobody else has done at this price point, a mechanical nozzle switching dual extrusion system with no additional motor in the printhead. Here's what that means in practice. The left nozzle runs a direct drive setup for your model material, the right runs a Bowden configuration for your support material, a different filament selected specifically for clean removal without tools. No scarring, no 30 minutes of post-processing. The switching mechanism has been tested for over 1 million cycles. Intelligent chamber thermal management, cool mode for clean PLA bridges and overhangs, heat mode that brings the chamber to 65 degrees Celsius for ABS, ASA and nylon with minimal warping. A PMSM servo motor sampling torque and position 20,000 times per second, catching jams before they become failures. The X2D non-combo starts at $649 in the US, 629 euros in Europe, and it's available now. Bambu Lab has been doing this since 2022, taking features that would normally belong to machines costing several times more and putting them in something you can actually buy. The X2D is the latest version of that argument, and it's a strong one. HP has been in additive manufacturing for a decade. Multi-jet fusion changed how industrial polymer parts are made, but it's always been a technology with a price that kept most manufacturers out. Until now. In Boston, HP announced the Multi-Jet Fusion 1200. The same trusted MJF technology in a 12-liter system below $60,000. It won't ship until early 2027. But the announcement alone changes the conversation about who can access industrial powder bed fusion. Start fast, dream big, that's what HP wrote on the flyer. Looking at that number, we think they mean it. 9 machines from RAPID+TCT 2026. A commercial resin launch that's been a long time coming, a German pellet printer making its US debut, a 20,000 metal machine from China that has no business being that affordable, a vapor smoother for under $1,000, silicone printing on a tool changer, the most precise desktop machine we've ever seen, a modular LPBF platform that scales to 3 meters, a Bambu Lab announcement that landed on day 1, and HP making industrial powder bed fusion accessible for the first time. If you weren't in Boston this week, now you know what you missed. We'll see you in the next one. By then, happy printing.